Good afternoon, everybody. DJ Styles. I want to see that everybody's on. Hold on, let me check on my computer. Let's check my live status so I can see you guys. We want. Okay, I'm live. I'm waiting for you guys to come on. Good afternoon, everybody. DJ Styles. I want to see that everybody's on. Hold on, let me check on my computer. Check live status. See you guys. Yeah, that should work. Okay. Anybody out there? Say hello. Okay, I've got my computer set up here so I don't have to mess with this side. All right. Now back over to my sculpture. And I need to turn this light on. Okay. Turn my chair around here. Got two different chairs in here now. Say hello, hello, hello. Anybody on with me? I gotta see if I'm blocking this camera. I don't want to block the camera. Okay. Let's see. I turn that light on. You know, I think I need to pull up a picture for my hairline. I need to pull up some pictures for my hairline. First, I want to set this about where I want to bring it down to about. I'm going to see the hairline's going to be about right here. That's going to be the front portion of the hairline. I don't have to be that dominant now. We're going to put in a little bit of a, that's the very front, and I have to figure out where I want to put the hairline. I got to bring it in, probably a little bit behind the ear, bring it up and around, and then somewhere's up in this area, and then bring it back down around. Yes, sir. And I may have to stand to do that, to be able to see that front. All right, but first let me get a picture up over here on my computer that I can look at. I'm more or less trying to get the side accurate, the hairline on the side very accurate. I'm actually going to make, let me see, let's just shrink this stuff down just until I'm done working. All right, so no, we don't want that. No, that's not the one I want. That's not it either. Hold on. Let me find a good hairline picture here, guys. I'm waiting for you guys to join me anyway, so please put a comment as soon as you're on with me, because I don't see any comments up there, and I can't tell whether you guys are on or you're not. So, with that being said, add your comments, please. Okay. Really good side view of this. Not found it yet. Just be bear with me. I'm looking for a really good, accurate look. This is tough because I have some really good shots of the mask. But hey, who's up there? Who's Crusher? All right, bud. I'm trying to dig up a good picture. I'm gonna put the hairline in. I want to make sure the hairline looks right. So let me dig up the hairline. I'm also going to put the sideburns on in clay. But I'm looking for a good picture of the positioning of the sideburns, where the glue marks were from pulling the hair up on the sideburns. I just need a couple of good pictures. Not going to be in this folder, I don't think. What is it with this? I just keep pulling up the wrong folder. Nope, that's not it. Nope, not that one either. Nope, that one. Give me a chance here. Nope. Alright, I'm going to have to go into the hard drive because I have a funny feeling that I didn't put that folder up onto the desktop, because I didn't want to eat up the desktop space on my memory. I hope you can hear me. Let me know that you can hear me talking. I'm not speaking loud enough, I don't think. Hold on. Alright, give me a sec here. Drop pictures. This should do it. The castle. Okay, yeah, this is it here. What we need. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, I'm gonna have a nice, okay. Gotta have a good side shot from both sides. Okay. Here's one. Here's two. Okay. I think I can work with these two pictures here. Let me spread these out a little bit. Give me a sec. This should do it. Okay. Now, all right, Crusher, loud and clear. Cool. That's what we want. Now, make sure I'm not blocking the frame. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring the hairline in. I think I'm going to drop that down just a little bit. I'm going to drop that hairline down just a little bit further. I put a little mark up here. You can see where I'm going with that. But I think I want to go a little bit lower. Like right there. That should do it. Yeah. All right, now, how I do this is I actually, on this side, I can still see some of my hairline from the other, do I want to go a little bit back further. I'm blocking the camera, I know. Give me a sec here. All right, you see what I did here? And it don't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be a little rugged. Now what I have to do is I got to make my little mark. All right, this little curl is going to come in here. It's actually, I actually have it on here. I'll take my glasses off. I'm just trying to make a guideline here of where I'm going to put the. All right, that's the hairline. That's the glue line on the left side, the check mark cheek side. And what I have to do is warm up some clay on my fingers, make real tiny noodles, and I got a nice little tool for that. Let me dig it out. Yeah, if I can. I wonder if I have the noodle bit in there. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Nope. I really jammed that on. Okay. Come on, man. All right. where my grip is slipping on here because I had oil in my hands earlier. I'm going to break out the vice grips. I don't need to grab it too tight. It's only aluminum. Wow, I really got that on there. Okay. I'll put them away once I get suited here. Wow, that's really stuck on there too. So there's clay on this apparatus I got here. Check this thing out. This is pretty cool. This is a noodle maker. You can get this at Hobby Lobby or even Michael's. I think that's where I got it. I think I ordered this on Amazon though. You just unwind that and see this little tube here? That's, you put the clay in here and it'll push it through this little hole. Push it through that little hole and it'll make some nice noodles. As you can see, it gets bent because I use a hard clay. So with that being said, let me wind this. Oops, going the wrong way. Let's go down with this thing. Okay, that should be enough clay there. I need to stick some inside here. Bear with me guys. I probably should have set this all up already. But you know what? I'm talking to you live. I have my glasses on. Let me take a look over here, see what you guys are saying. Should I say loud and clear? Okay. Lex and Beats. Yep, I'm getting there now. This is going to be a nice project here. I'm getting ready to mold. It's going to get molded this week. There'll be a video on the molding process. I'm definitely going to get that done because I gotta get finished. I need this done. I want to have all three of these masks done by June 1st. As far as see, what I'll do is I'll mold this, I'll pull the mold apart, and then what I'm going to do is retool the sculpture again. I'm just tricking up. This is hard clay. This is really hard. It's not softened up because I don't have it warm, but that's okay because I'm going to shove it in this hole. Crank it back until it fits. Come on. That's just the way. All right. I got enough clay in there now to do what I need to do. So we're going to put this on here like that. Put that on there like that, that metal piece. And we're going to screw this cap back on. This clay was so hard one time, I had another one of these, and it was a little cheaper of a model. And it literally popped the threads off. That's how hard I cranked down on it. Alright, so let me show you what this does. I'm going to make some noodle. I'm going to make a noodle that goes right here for the sideburns. And see what this is going to do once it starts cranking in there. Is that noodle popping out of there? I don't like to make my noodles too long. I'll run them into each other. Boom, I'll cut that off there. It's only about an inch and a half long. Don't mind me, I got to take these glasses off. And I've already put my guideline on where I'm going to put this. This is going to be the sideburns. The glue line. It looks crappy now, but it'll look good when I'm done here. Got to remember, I'm going to carve that down so it's barely noticeable. It won't, you barely see it. Just cranking out these little, look how perfect that noodle is. That's perfect. That's what you want when you're working with fine detail. You don't want to have to try and do it with your fingers. Okay, so we need to keep it right on the line that I've created. Okay. Now we only have a little section left here. I should do it. Might be a little too much. We'll know in a second here. Yeah, way too much. Boom. Take that little bit off. And actually, it'll give it a point, so that's good. Now what I'll do is I'll just stick it up higher onto where the other one is. And I want to put this little crank. All right, that's the hairline one. And I'm looking at the other hairline, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that too, so it gives me a little bit of an indication. Let me get my glasses out of the way. Okay. I don't know if you're still on with me or not. You're just kind of watching. That's pretty cool. All right. I got to do the hairline here before I can go any further with that. All right. I do it with my tool. Don't you look? Here it is. Got too many tools out at once. I got too many tools on my bench. All right, I got to do this from this side so I can. Okay, now I got the starting line. Now I can sit down and look at this level, bring it in that way. Don't mind my hand, you'll see it in a second. You're not missing nothing. I'm not pushing real hard on this. All right, that's the hairline. I'm not giving this a real deep cut. I don't want a real deep cut. Smooth out the edges. Don't want a real deep cut there. Now, about where does that hairline come in at? Okay, I know where it comes in at. Damn, I wish I just had a little bit better of a shot there. It has to come in here. I'm looking at the picture. Bear with me, guys. Oh, I see. Okay. That's about right. Okay. Now this one's pretty much straight down, this hairline here. And it comes in, it goes all the way to about here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm about the right position on the side of the face. I'm going to go upward with this. This way I know I'm in the right position with the hairline. It'll come up right where it needs to come up to. Crank out them noodles, baby. I think I put enough just in there to finish this off. It should do it good. And I think I'm going to bring this down just a little bit more. I don't like that. Little bend in there, I didn't see it. All right, get off of there. Not going to happen. Trying to pitch it from the middle, and it doesn't want to stay straight for me. There we go. Now, the one thing I am going to do with this is I'm going to bring in the check mark right where this thing is. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Where the hairline comes in here, I'm going to put a little bit of a check mark right in the mask. Just an indication where the hair goes. Oops, that wasn't straight. Now there's a chunk of hair that goes right into that little triangular box. Now I'm going to continue on for like an... Just going to continue this into here. That's too long. All right. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. I'm going to leave that little line right there so I can see it. It's a very thin line. You can barely see it. But that'll give me an indication of where that hair's got to go, right into that mask and then down. So there's a little bit of a, and that's where one of the curls are. This check mark is where they yanked off the hair down this glue line, and what happened was a little piece of hair still stayed like right in that corner, right in that triangular box. Imagine all the hair on here, and then a little chunk of triangulated hair still stuck to the mask right here, right where the sideburn was pulled off. So this area right here was still attached. So, which is good because now I got a nice thin hairline here. I don't want a thick hairline. And I'm going to shave that all the way down so it's barely noticeable on the mask. It'll be barely noticeable. It'll be really pulled down quite a bit, as a matter of fact. And how I'm going to do that. It's just like that. Believe it or not, I pulled a lot of clay off of that. There's barely any there. Now, when I get it down to where I want it, almost flush with the mask, I'll push on it again. All right. Hopefully I'm not blocking your view. Can you guys see everything? Holy mackerel! I got blown up. All right, let me try and read what you guys are writing here. I'm going to take a pause, turn my seat a little bit. Crusher, what's up, my man? Lexa Beach, you're still on. Cool. Blackson Beats is doing a sculpt himself right now. Hairline, yes, I'm working on the hairline and also the glue line. I'm going to put that in the mask. I wasn't going to do that, but it's going to be so minute there. It's going to look like, it's good. It's going to be really, this is going to be really low to the sculpture, and it just gives you a better guideline. This way I can put the glue still on there and give it that look, and you won't lose. Yes, that's a Ed Head 2.0. You can fill that with liquid, but let me tell you a little something. And this is why it's worth using Monster Clay. Now you may vary on the hardness. There's 3 hardnesses. You've got, did I say that right? Was that proper English? If it wasn't, oh well. You've got soft, medium, and hard. I always work with hard because I like to tool my stuff. I work, maybe some people do it just the opposite. I build up the shape, and then I take away. And I do it with tools and my hands if I can get the clay warm enough. What I like about using Monster Clay is I can leave this clay. It's already in the right shape, the right size of any mask that you want to produce. All right. So therefore, if I want to make a new mask, I can just leave this on here, and it don't have to be Michael Myers. No, I'm saying I can just completely redo the and make a zombie or something out. And the eye holes are lined up, the nose holes are lined up, the ear holes are lined up, the mouth is lined up. Everything's lined up on this Ed head. So there's no reason to take the clay off the Ed head. Never. So what I usually do is I'll buy 2 or 3 of those armatures, Ed Heads 2.0s, and I'll just leave the clay on there as I'm working. I'll just resculpt what's there. Never have to take the clay off the head, man. I'm going to tell you, it's hard. Even with filling it with hot water, it's very hard to get hard clay off that Ed head. I don't like working with the soft clay because I think what happens is when I demold, once I make this out of stone and I demold this mask, it won't deform as much if it's a hard clay. You'll be able to split it. I usually put my seam right down here, right across the top of the head, right at the. All right, I'm going to show you how this works. Let me see. Can you guys see this? Yeah. All right, right about here is the very peak of the head. All right. So in other words, when I make my seam, I put my clay wall right up on this side, this thick, and I put it up on this side. And you'll see this process this week. I'll put my clay wall on this side. I find my peak, the highest point of the top of the head, the highest point. You have to look at it carefully. Make sure you have the highest point, because what you're going to create is what they call a lock. In other words, if I come down here on the lower part of this, well, when I try to pull that stone off this way, it's going to lock right here. It's going to lock right on this point. I have to make sure that I'm dead even on top of the head. Very important. All your peaks, your highest point, like this is going to come down right about where the hairline is, and then I'm going to put that, and then there's going to be the clay's going to go behind the ear, and then I got to find the peak on this part here too, because if I don't have this exactly where the peak is, the highest point, in other words, this goes this way and that goes that way. I've got to find that high spot. And this way, when I go to demold this thing, it just pops off. It really does come off easy, as long as you don't have any locks. Now, ears automatically lock. The number one thing that gets damaged, and it will damage every time. I don't care how you do it, unless of course you don't put ears on it. But all these deep areas, that turns to hard stone when it's sitting inside of that. Now, like I said, my dividing line's here and then back behind the ear and then down. So that means the front portion of my sculpture has the entire ear on it. All right. So when I separate this two-part mold, the back half always comes off easy. All right. The front part, sometimes you're going to have to hammer it, and that's why it's very important to make your walls very thick, right where the dividing line is. Of your mold, and you'll see that process in the next couple of days. I'm thinking Wednesday I'm going to do this. Okay, how many monster clay? Okay, all right, it comes in tubs, 5-pound tubs, and there's about maybe 4.5 to 5 tubs of clay on this armature. This diameter from this point, from the furthest point of the back of the head, if I take a tape, I take one of these measuring tapes right here, and I wrap it around from the furthest point back here, across there, right across the top of the bridge of the eyebrow, right over here. All right, that's where you want to measure. You want to measure that. This is about 30 inches in diameter. Now, you got to remember, when you're making latex mask, it'll shrink 2 inches. So this is going to shrink down to about 28 inches, maybe 27 and a half. When I make my latex master copy, all right, and then I'll make another master copy from the latex to shrink the mask even down further. And why I say that is when I make another when I make another mold out of stone, out of my latex mask that's foam filled, that's already 2 inches smaller, then it shrinks down another 2 inches. So you can keep shrinking this down. You can have mini heads if you want. You can have little tiny heads. I don't know how the detail will hold up, but I like to do about 2 sizes. A super large, about 26 inches. I'm going to say, by the time I'm all done, it's about 20. I have to measure it. What I do is also the big mask, I make it very thick. And that's because I want it to shrink more. The thicker your mask is, the more the latex will shrink. All right, so the one from this mold, this actual sculpture, will shrink down by 2.5 inches. Over time, it'll definitely shrink up even more than that, maybe 3 inches in diameter. So that turns into like a 26-inch mask. All right, that's for somebody that has a large head. And then my smaller mask, I make thinner so it doesn't shrink up that much. And that'll be about a 25 to 25.5-inch mask. So that's how that works. And yeah, the tub of clay, I like to use hard. I don't like to use soft. I should pull that out and show it to you. Okay. Why not? I'm going to take a little tiny break anyway. Let me pull this up for you. Wow, really? I got it buried. I got records all over the place. I was busy over this last couple of days with my work, my other job, my real job, so to speak. My real job. Been a long time doing it too, trust me. Okay, wow, got some dirt in there. Can't go on, none of that in there. What's nice is about, okay, let me just show you. I got my tools out of here. All right, I just scoop out the clay. See the clay? This is real hard, and that's as hard as a brick. All right, now this clay, see how it comes? Soft, medium, and hard. I always buy the hard. This is monster clay. It's a 5-pound tub. All right, and it's about $35 to $40. I don't know if the price went up on them yet. With everything that's going on, you know, the prices are going skyrocketing. So who knows? I paid about $35 a tub, and 5 pounds. And I don't like to. Whenever I start loading up on an armature, I want extra. All right, so I always buy 6 tubs to be on the safe side. 6 tubs at a time. Yes, it's pricey, but I don't have to, like if it's wet clay, yeah, it's cheap, but you got to take that off the armature every time, and you know you have to resculpt from scratch every time. I don't like that. I like to work on fine detail. I like to take my time. Yeah, some people are real fast at making some really cool masks, and they could probably, you know, knock out. But when you start working with fine detail and you start working on sculptures, this is actually a life cast of William Shatner, and you're trying to replicate a life cast. It's not easy, and as any person that draws faces totally knows how hard it is to make a face look very real, very realistic. Now you're intensifying the situation because when you're not only drawing, but you're shaping and you're doing everything in 3-dimensional. So yes, it's a lot harder. Yeah, that's the monster clay. Now see, I had 6 tubs. I think this might have been 6 tubs, might have been 5, but I'm pretty sure I have 5 tubs, and this is the 6th tub. And I always have the extra clay for when I'm putting things. When I get into the fine detail, I'm using, you know, you're using more clay. Especially the more detail that's in a mask. You take a zombie mask and you got all those little cracks and you know all that extra stuff going on. You're going to need a lot of extra clay. All right, so I always keep a clay ball that I keep in my hand to stay nice and warm. I warm it up with my hand. I also have a crock pot over in the corner here. I don't like using microwaves. They can use it, but see, monster clay has a flash point. It can literally catch fire in your microwave, and if you don't really have the setting good, you know, set right, you could have a fire in your microwave, and you don't want that. Crock pot never gets hot enough. So do yourself a favor, get yourself a good crock pot that has a probe on it, so you can put the probe right into the clay, and once it reaches a certain temperature, it shuts off. So you don't have to worry about it overheating. It doesn't really overheat anyway, because the temperature of the crock pot, I think it goes to 145. That's it, maybe 160 at the hottest. I keep it on the lower setting. Yes, it takes a little time for the clay to melt, but it also cools down pretty quick because it's not over hot. It's not way too hot. If you're microwaving your clay and you're only just trying to soften it up a little bit, then I would say, yeah, it's okay to microwave. But you better be careful. You better be careful and pay close attention to your time, because if that catches fire in your microwave, man, you got problems. So, okay. What do you guys want to see me do first? Should I take down this and blend this in, or should I finish the hairline around the front? What do you want me to do? Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just as long as I know you know where the setting, you know where the sweet spot is on your monster clay, right? As far as the microwave. Lex. Yeah, you know, it's like I said, it's like anything. If you're new to this, you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to learn things, and it's just the way it is. Um, I'm not saying not use a microwave. That's not what I'm saying. I just think you have to be careful. That's all, because this stuff is highly flammable. Monster clay is a wax-based clay. It's not oil-based. I think it does have some oil in it, but not much. It's mostly wax. It's got a wax, and I don't know all the ingredients in it, to tell you the truth. I just know that it's very highly flammable. It actually says it right on the side of the when you get the brochure with this clay. It tells you to be careful with microwaving the clay. Anyway, let me see. What do I want to do? Yes, I don't know. What am I doing, guys? Am I finishing the hairline, or am I gonna? Yeah, I'm sure you do. Now, see, I don't really mess with the microwave too much. I got my crock pot over there. I'm sure the microwave's a hell of a lot quicker too. Maybe you can give me some pointers. Now, I have a high-powered microwave. It's not a low-powered microwave. B. Norton finish. Yes, I'm going to finish. You know what? I'm going to finish up I'm doing it all. I'm doing the hairline. I'm doing this here. I plan on that. What do you guys want me to do first? Should I do the sideburns where the glue line was? Or should I do the, no. All right, let's do the glue line. I'm going to turn this on its side just a little bit more. I want to, I'm almost taking this down to the actual sculpture. You see how much I took off of there? I mean, I don't, you're seeing it straight on, so you're not really getting a good shot of it. But I took a lot of clay off of that, because I don't want this bulging clay for that glue line. And now, just barely noticeable there. Now I'm just smoothing out with my hands. It doesn't have to be pretty, you know, it's glue. You don't want it to look uniform. You don't want to try and smooth it out to make it look like it's all one. This makes it look very organic by doing it the way I just did it. If I smooth this out perfectly, without the little divots and the crookedness and, you know, where I shaved it off, you're not going to have, it's going to look too fake. All right. Just taking some of the high stuff off. All right. Now I'll do this again. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just lightly put some scratches in it. I'm not blocking that, am I? Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just putting some scratches in it where the hair was on it. Then I'll smooth that out and texture the whole thing. I'm just making it easy for me when it comes to fixing and finishing the mask. When I start painting and I start doing, that's why I put the hairline in. That's why I put this little check mark in here. Doesn't necessarily have to be there, but it's there because now I don't have to. I'm just like, I'll just boom, 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 boom. If you get busy with these, I'm going to have to be quick. Um, Not too fast, but you know, respectably fast. I won't rush something and then just put out junk. That's something I won't do. You don't spend 12 months of work sculpting something like this and then screw it all up with the paint job and the final touches when you're finally you know getting to the finish line with it. You get a mask. There's a couple guys I want to send my mask off to that are 10 times better painters and artists when it comes to painting than I am. That's going to be a process for me to learn that. So I'm not offended if you buy my mask because you love the way it looks, and then send it off to somebody that's really good at overhauling the mask. I would not be offended at all, because yeah, it's just. I just think that this is a learning process. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a year and a half, so I'm going to have to learn how to paint the mask a little better. I'm going to have to get better at that. That's going to be some time. Um, a lot of people. Yeah, see, that looks natural now. That looks really natural. I just want to texture it. I want to put a little texture on it. Now there's barely, barely. It's barely on the surface of that. You can barely see that's barely on there. Actually, it's a little too thick right at the bottom there. I'm going to take that off. But you know what? That replicates like a run. All right, so take that off. Bring some texture into that. There's the glue line. Now if I add glue to that, it'll look like it's part of the, it'll look like it's part of the mask. Now, I gotta look at this at the right angle because I gotta bring this in here. Okay. Okay, there's that part of the hairline. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now you'll see I got a little, I brought it down just a little further. Need a better angle. There we go. Now, to check that hairline, I can see that this, I don't like the way this kind of came in here. And that looks good. All right. And you don't want the hairline too, well, that's, for whatever reason, that's, okay. All right. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Barely want any clay on there. Cleaning up the clay with my blade on the end of my, see, clean it up on the desk. And then push it into my clay ball. Make sure there's nothing on the face. How you know, like I'll pivot this just a little bit of an angle. Try not to dig too hard. Because I want to, like the edges almost like flush with the face. That's how you know you're close enough. You know, you don't want your edges too. All right, now some people say, don't do it that way. Don't put the glue marks there. Do it with real glue. Well, I honestly debating on whether or not I want to take that time to go that extra mile. Oh yeah, you have to. You know why? Because I'm probably going to put, instead of glue, probably latex, and then put fibers of hair into the glue line. I'm going to look at your texts in a minute here, guys. Give me a second. Very important to texture your sculpture too. Smooth isn't always perfect. Is not what you're looking for. You don't want, because when you go to paint this, you definitely need texture, so the paint has something to grab to. I could really smooth this out and make it like glass, but I don't want to. I don't want that, because I got to be able to paint this, and I want to be, especially into like the areas that get the shading, because if you make that smooth, you're going to be regretting. You know what? I don't like the way this looks, so I'm going to cut that off. All right. Giving me a little bit of a problem here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little knife out of here. My square edge. Perfect. If it ain't, oh well. Okay, so still not quite done yet. It's still got a little too thick right in here. Okay, so look what's going on right there. All right, so I like the way that looks. This might have to come back just a little bit more. Let's see there, Johnny boy. All right. All right, now let's try and smooth this out with my finger first. And I want those little lumps here and there because it's more of a natural glue look. Yeah, that looks pretty awesome. But I want to make sure that I have the lines in the right direction. As I go up, because this is kind of rounded, as I go up, it goes more like this. Don't make them all completely straight. Kind of a little bit of crisscrossing and stuff, but not too exaggerated. Remember, most of this, once I put the naphtha on there, it washes it away, most of the lines. Looks busy there, don't it? Yeah, it does. It looks like it's way too much. But if you think about it, hair follicles, okay, where's my brush? There it is. Hair follicles are really fine, real fine. When they pulled that out of there and left some on the mask and some off. I'm trying not to hit the glue line too much. Or the hairline, I mean. Really, just a hint. And I don't like that this is still too thick. Okay, that looks good for my bowl of clay. I'm going to read your messages here real quick. I have to turn myself that way because I have a monitor. Okay, I always wanted to make masks, just broke down and purchased an Ed head, some tools. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see the detail. I mean, you can see that it's barely noticeable. It's almost flush with the face. Hold on, let me back up. You guys have been 23 to 24 inches. All right, Crusher. I'm going back up to you. Ed head a little too big in case you want to make a Myers sculpt hero size. Yeah, you have to remember the 23, 24 inch, is that your sculpture size, Crusher? You're going to have to pack that out. You need to go minimum, I'm going to say at least 28 inches. All right, because you got to allow for shrinkage on the latex. When you make a master mold from that, it's going to come. It's going to shrink down another 2 inches. The smallest person's adult head is about 24 inches. All right, that's what this here's a 24-inch mask right here. This if it fits you great, you've got to make your that mold when they made this, that master mold, the clay mold. If this is 24, that was a 26-inch sculpt. All right, maybe a little larger than that even. Yeah, make sure I hate to do this to you, man. I wish you had talked to me about this. Make sure your sculpture's at least 26. I go real big because I like making multiple sizes. So I go 30 inches with my sculptures, and then I could make smaller masks. I can go extremely large. Somebody wears a 30-inch mask. It'll never be 30 inches. It's going to be, it'll be 28 at the largest, maybe 27 if I make it a real thick mask, because it'll shrink down about 3 inches in diameter, the thicker the mask. And that's what I like to do with the large mask. I make it a very thick mask because I do want it to shrink down to about 27. That's going to fit somebody that's like 6'6", 6'5", big dude, you know what I mean, and wants to, or is playing Michael Myers, and, you know, maybe at a haunt someplace. He has the option to get that big mask. And then when I make my another copy, I make another mold from the foam filled latex that I pulled from the original mold. That'll shrink down another 2 inches. So now I'll be back down to right around 25, 26 inches for the small size. So that's perfect. So now I've got two sizes. I've got a 20, I'm going to say 27 inch, 27 and a 25. That's where I'm at with the masks. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Here you go. Here's a mask from this mold. Now this mold has not really changed in size. This mold has been basically, it's still the same size. Let me get you turned so I can show you what I'm talking about. This came from this mold. This came from this size right here. Look how much smaller this mask is from shrinkage. All right, this is done twice now. I made a mold, I have a master copy. It's a little bit smaller than this, and then I made another master copy from that pull. All right, and then made a mask from that, and that's down two sizes. But look how small that is now. That's a perfect. That's the same size as this mask. Actually, it's a little more narrower because it's longer, but it's still the same size. These masks are about the same size. That's the small mask. All right. So, yeah, it's important, guys. It really is. You have to make sure that your sizing is right, because if your sizing's wrong, you're going to have problems. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's too small. What do I do? You can't do anything. You really can't do anything once you've made your mold. You can't blow it out. There's no such thing. I've heard people say they can blow out a mask. I don't know how you can. How do you make it bigger when it's already? You have to have a giant sculpture, and then the latex shrinks. You're not going to be able to make the latex bigger. Now you can make something that's not latex, so it doesn't shrink. So if you have a 24-inch mold, 25-inch mold, 24-inch mold, maybe you make that mask out of something like a vinyl. Therefore, there will be no shrinkage. See, vinyl and urethane rubbers don't shrink. That's why I make my master copy out of urethane rubber, because then I don't lose the size of the actual sculpture. When I make my master copy, I'll do a pull out of the master mold, out of latex, and then as soon as I have a perfected pull, and if I might have to do it maybe once or twice to get a really well perfected pull from the sculpture or from the mold, and then once I do, what I do then is I do a process where I actually I make a urethane rubber copy from the master mold. But the master mold gets ruined the minute you put urethane rubber in that master mold, because you have to seal it. There's all kinds of process. I have videos on how I do it, and it's on my channel. I have to break them down. I'm going to make playlists. That's what I want to do, so you guys can go in and be able to really I'm going to go a little deeper. I thought about it. By the time I get done texturing and everything, I just don't want to lose that. Yeah, that's a perfect hairline. That works for me. That works for me. Okay, so now I'm gonna wet that. Let me take a look. Oh yeah, I didn't. Okay. Let me wet this. I don't want too much of this naphtha on here, because I just want to. Oh yeah, okay. Now, I just want to put some texture on it. Always remember to replace that texture. Let's turn it. We got ourselves a cool hairline, man. All right, now I'm going to go a little deeper. I thought about it. I'm just like, yeah, I better make sure I don't lose this. Just from handling and stuff, you know, when you get out there and I start making the mold. I don't want to lose the hairline. You're not going to see it. It's good. I always bring the hair just a little bit over the hairline. Oops. All that does is give me that location. This little triangulated area keeps hair. I make sure hair stays there. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to clean this line up before I before I do a brush on it. Now when I was pushing that down, what it did was it splayed out on the edges. It created little high spots. So I wanted to make sure I took them down, so they're back down to flush with the sculpture. But this has got depth now, so the stone will go in there. Now I'm going to stand up over top of this to make sure that this hairline is in the right spot. This goes back just a little bit further on this side than it does on that side, and I may change that. We shall see. And then I'm going to do the final texturing. You guys enjoy the content that I share on here? I hope so. I'm no expert. I'm not trying to be I'm not saying I'm an expert at this. You guys, I'm sure some of you guys have probably done it longer than me. I just I don't know. I'm learning as I go. So I should be asking for your advice sometimes, I think. You know? Especially when like I was saying with who was it? We were talking about the I'm gonna read all your text. Give me a sec here. I gotta make sure this is textured up in here right. Little shiny spot right at the top of the head, right where that. See, I have a little bit of a center bulge right here. And that's actually in the original '78 mask, and I still kept that in there. Oh yeah. Okay. Softened up the clay. Once the brush starts to grab a little bit, the clay's soft, and you can get that texture in there. You want that brush to start grabbing. That means it's drying a little bit, but the clay's soft. All right, so we're going to do this again on this side. I just want to make sure I don't put too much on here. I may change the lines on this on the front here, and I rushed it, I think, and there's two ways to do this. You can do the brush method. You can just let it sit there, let it dry a little bit. You know, let it dry on its own. When you start seeing that shine disappear, you're ready to dab it. Because now it really softening, because it's staying wet. You're really softening the clay. Yeah, I'm starting to lose that shine now. You know, I can see right here. I'm looking at it. I got the light hitting down, and it's starting to disappear. That shine. That means it's soft, and we're ready. Ready to texture. But this is the hairline, guys. What do you think? Let me double check something first. I want to make sure that this is coming in at the right spot over here. It looks a little short on this side. I have to see the center nose. Yeah, see, that's definitely okay. All right, so I can't do anything with this side because that's right in where this little, see there's a little bulge right here, and it's just right in right where that's at. This bulge is right here, and I'm going to bring this back. Damn, do I want to do that? No, I know what I'm going to do. Okay. And the problem is the clay's a little soft. So I'm going to bring this back just a little bit further. There we go. Okay. Gotta sit to do this one. Because I gotta make sure that line doesn't change too dramatically. All right, now, what I need to do is close this in just a little bit. Clay soft. I have my starting point and my stopping point, so I want to make sure that this clay is closed in. I don't want that showing up on the sculpture. Glad I checked that. Boy, am I glad I checked that, because it wasn't even. Didn't look quite even. I'll have to put a little tiny piece of clay in there to bring that in. Okay, so when you think you're done, you're never done. Just know that going forward. All right, we're going to smooth this out now. I have my depth. I know where it's going to. Got a little stone in there. Just a little tiny piece of. Oh, that's from the old hairline. Okay. I gotta feel this out. There's a divot there. I don't want that. Alright, so I'm gonna take a little piece of this clay. Just a little tiny piece. And fill it in. Flatten it out. And I put, see now, that's something. A little piece of stone in there or something. Get out of there. You don't want dirty clay. Yeah, I don't want these dents in here. I can see the dents. See, I got a light that's shining on it, and I can see where it's kind of dug in a little bit. And I don't want that in the sculpture. I'd rather have the high spots, and I can bring the high spots down. Like I said, add, and you can always take away. Can always take away. Okay, so I love this tool. I mean, I've always used this. Constantly clean it though. Let me read some comments. Got to change that hair. Got to fix that hairline. Ah. Read some comments. Finish. Bo Norton. I always wanted to make mask. Just broke down and purchased an Ed head. Cool. Some tools. Okay, the wet clay. If you have a shop and you're not working indoors, a well-heated shop, so to speak, and you're a fast sculptor, if you're really fast at what you're doing, I would say, yeah, wet clay would be the cheapest way to go. Wet clay is not, I'm not a fan of wet clay. I only use wet clay for my dividing walls. That's the only time I use it, wet clay. Okay, now when you guys are talking to each other, always put the @ symbol, @ Crusher, @ Bo Norton, or @ who else is on here? Lex, @ Lex. This way I'm not reading when you guys are talking to each other. So just remember, just anytime you join my channel, try to remember that. Yeah, it's a little trick on YouTube. It's pretty cool because what'll happen is it to the person you're talking to, it'll glow. It'll turn. For me, it turns orange when somebody's talking to me directly and they say @ Custom Corpses. It glows orange. You know, so when you guys don't use the @ symbol, it just all the text go right up, and sometimes I'm not sure who's talking to who. Yeah, so anyway. Now, yeah, do the wet clay if you like it. I can't. I'm in a recording studio as well. As messy as it is, I know it's terrible, but I can't have the dirt. Wet clay is actually real earth clay, and when it dries, it turns to powder, and it's a mess. I can't have that kind of clay in my shop. This stuff is way more expensive, the monster clay, but it's wax based, and you don't have to rush to get it done. Now, wet clay, you spray it down when you're not, when you're like, you can take your time with it. Don't get me wrong. You just have to make sure that there's a plastic bag and you spray your mask down just a little bit. If you're not going to work on it for like a week or something, spray it down, mist it with a little bit of water, and put a black plastic trash bag over top of your sculpture. And wet clay is very soft, so it's harder to do detail in a soft clay. The harder the clay, the better the detail. And when it comes to pulling when you make your sculpture and you put the stone on wet clay, you're not saving that sculpture at all. You have to start from scratch again. Um, because when you pull that mold off of there, that mold sticks. No matter what you put on there, that mold sticks to that wet clay, and you have to clean out the mold. And I hate that process. That's why I never do wet clay for mold masking, for mold making. The mold process. Two things you get when you work with this, uh, especially a hard clay. When I separate my mold, uh, I'll salvage 99.9% of this sculpture with very little damage. The ears will get damaged because of the what they call locking. You know, in these deep crevices in here, that'll lock. When you pull that mask forward, it'll rip these ears apart a little bit, but that's nothing to fix. You know, sometimes the eyes and the flare outs on the nose, they'll get damaged a little bit, but everything else stays the same. And very little damage. It doesn't take long to retool this back to what you had. And why it's important is because for me, I'm going to make several masks from this. I'm going to make 5 masks from this mold, from this sculpture. There's going to be the 78, which this is the 78 right now, which it'll also be the 78 is going to do 3 masks right by itself, just by changing the paint scheme. It's going to do the original 78, it's going to do the 1981 Halloween 2, and it's also going to do the flashback, because you have the flashback in this look too. My mask, I made my mask to make it look like what I want it to look like. I didn't copy anybody's exact copy. I'll tell you what I did to make this main sculpture, and I'll reiterate this. All right, the eyebrows, the scowl, that is a takeoff from the poster of Halloween 4 and 5, the poster art. That's what this is supposed to represent. All right, these bulge outs on the scowl here, right here on the where the eye, over the eye, these bulge outs on both sides, that's in the flashback mask. All right, all right. The 78, the William Shatner lips, they're definitely from the Captain Kirk mask, the way I sculpted these. The nose, basically, take your pick. I don't know which one it looks like the most. I just made sure that the nose looked really good. I made sure that this bulge out here in the center is there, like the original 78. I made it a little wider. The head is a little bit wider. This way I can make that 81 version and it'll look good. So you're gonna have it's the best of all the masks. I think this is what I tried to shoot for when I made my sculpture. I wanted to represent all the masks combined and give you that. My thought is, I think it's one of the it's a very nice looking sculpture. It's no doubt that this is a really this is going to be a nice piece for people to have. Every little detail, I tried to hone in on a specific look that I have in my mind on what the perfect Michael Myers looks like. Look, I want you to realize, you know, as artists, I don't want to replicate somebody else's work to a T. All right, and we all kind of are doing that, but in a roundabout way, we try to do things that give it our own flavor. All right. And what I'm saying, why I say that's important, is because what's going to decipher you from buying my mask or just going and getting a Trick or Treat Studio mask. In other words, if I replicate this perfectly, all right, I can do it. I know I can do that. It's painstaking to really make a replica of an exact copy of anything. But I know I can do it. I have the art ability. Um, my issue with doing that is why would you want to get my mask? I want somebody to buy my mask because they like the way it looks. It's what they want. That's the objective. All right, and now, with that being said, let me see. The cheek lines are lined up right. The eyebrows are lined up right. My mask, I'm going to sign the inside of my masks with just probably a pen or some kind of special pen. My sculpture on the back of the head. This is the logo. Make sure I'm not touching that wall. The logo is my business company is Custom Corpses. It's the Night Creeper series, and this is the 78. That's how I set this up, and once the mask is made, I'll sign the inside, autographed basically, and numbered. It'll have a number on it. I can't put that into a sculpture because I can't want to put the autograph into the sculpture, and it's kind of stupid. So, I mean, I could actually sign my name. I'm not going to do that. Just too much going on in the back. I'll sign it on the inside with some kind of permanent ink, and I'll probably use the ink that's on my shelf there. All right, so let me get back to finishing this hairline because it's driving me crazy. All right. I'm trying to smooth this out so it's just. I got to be careful up there. I don't want to take too much of that clay off there because that bulge is there, and I don't want to take that bulge down. All right, so let me take a look at that. All right, I see it. Okay. I think I'm going to stick a little bit of clay up on that bulge because that's going to go into that corner. Just a little bit. You always sneak it in. Here's what I always do. I pull a piece off and I think it's the right size. All right? Half it. Always half whatever you think is the right size. Cut it in half and then put that little clay on there. Right where that bulge has got to be. And I'm going to blend that in, and guess what? I'm right on the money. That bulge is perfectly it's the right amount of clay, just putting that little bit there. Crazy, isn't it? Things you learn. You think it feels like, it's not enough. Or it feels just the right amount. You got the right amount in your hand, half that. Guarantee it. That you'll usually always overguess with your fingers. Always overemphasize with your fingers. Too much And I half that too because I wanted to make sure this blends in nice. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to bring in where I added that clay into the exact same trying to really smooth it into the original sculpture with my finger. It's just less tool work to do. Okay, now I go in and refine it with the tools. Blend it with the naphtha. Refine it with the tools and make sure you crisscross in every direction because you don't want knife marks in your sculpture. I want a little extra higher with that bulge, and I need it to, but not too high. And I can always take away. And I'm blocking the view, I know I am, but I have to look at this from a different, I have to have that light on there to see what I'm doing. I really stepped into something when I fixed this, didn't I? That's how it goes. You know, I'm a perfectionist. I'm sorry. I don't care if I have to restart something right from the get go. If it don't look right, I'm not going to spend 12 months and just say, you know what, just let it go. Yeah, just let it go. No, sorry. It's not the way this guy works. I would have never succeeded in my business over the years if I had approached everything like that. And you can't. You have to approach it as you're always putting your best effort into everything you do. It shows in the end product every time. A lot of people think it's, excuse the term, anal, but I'm just one of these guys. I can't look at something. Now I'm going to go back up here because I really did add more clay and really closed off where my mark was. And I got to stand up and get that depth right. Okay. Yep. Okay. Now I'll bring this down And I'll add, and I'll start doing the, what do you call it? I'll start brushing in the, I'm going to bring this in back a little bit further. Yeah, it's a little bit shaped, that's it. Okay, now I break that down. Where did that piece go? Here it is. Never waste your clay. That's another thing too. Stuff's too expensive. And I have to all right. Now I gotta put some naphtha on here to see what it's gonna look like. Especially with that bulge out. I want to see how I fixed it. I still have to put a little more hairline in here again, where the glue line is. Now I don't want to rub too much into this because then I'll end up. I definitely want to rub where the bulge out is though. And everything I did was very subtle here. I don't know if you could tell that on the film, on the video, but everything I did was very, very subtle. Not very. Okay. All right. Time for a little piece of clay here. Man, is it a small piece. It needs to go in there. What I gotta do is, all right, let me take a peek at what you guys are talking to me about. All right, cool. Now I can see who's talking to me and who isn't when you're talking to each other. Cool. That cuss and crusher, you got it. And that shows everybody. No, not yet. I'm keeping it until I'm done because it shows the cracks and the crevices like this does in here. It really shows all the real details because the way I did a black wash over it, and it really grabbed. Man, it took a little bit to figure out exactly how thick I needed to put that paint on to make it stick and not wash out. But it really grabbed all the details really good. Now that I know the trick with that, I'm going to repaint this mask too. I'm going to redo this mask. And it has all the details right in it. I want to redo this mask and see how it turns out. Yeah, well, it'll be uploaded as soon as I'm done. I'm almost done now. I pretty much have the hairline where it needs to be. Yeah, that's pretty good. I just have to, you know, I just put a little clay up there, but everything else is looking good. The hairline's in place. Yeah, this is where it needs to be. And I'll double check everything before I. As a matter of fact, let me look down on that thing now to see how the hairline looks. Okay, I see what I did wrong. I have more of a rounded look on this side. This side's not quite rounded. All right, no biggie. Once again. Actually, the best way to do that, I don't know if I should do it that way. You know what? I got to stand over top of this thing to make that line, one way or another, because let me just jot this right. All right, that's more like it. Okay, that's more like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better. All right, now the thing I gotta do though. Huh, that's funny. Still a little stone left in there, and I didn't realize it. Some stone still stuck inside of this thing. My little bridge knife, we're gonna go. that stone in there. I knew that stone was there. Just trying to close that seam. Without adding clay. I don't want to add clay. Just too much work. Okay. Now I'm not going to close that seam up too much because I don't want to lose that line again. All right, so I keep putting that one tool down and losing it every time. It's right in front of my face. What did you do with it? Right there. Buried underneath of something, of course. That is the line. All right, now put that tool over there because I'm using it constantly. Nice. We are almost there, guys. Almost. That looks about right. Much better. Okay. Yeah, I put the other tool down. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. paintbrush. I got too many tools here. Always put your tools back. Remember that, guys. Put your tools back. Don't leave them sit out. They bury each other. They bury each other severely. Make you look for 10 minutes. Alright, I'm going to still widen that out a little bit more. And now, instead of digging in so much, you see what I'm doing here? You see that dark line that was in there? It was real deep. I'm smoothing it out more. Almost done here, guys. Now, what I did was this needle's bent. I put it on a bent angle. I bent this. This was straight, this needle. I bent this on a bent angle. And then I wrote, instead of digging in like this into the clay, I wrote it right inside, right on the surface of it, just flush with it. This way, it takes away that deep cut. You don't want it to be too deep, because, and you want it to be a little bit rounder, because you want a little bit of thickness in the stone. When the stone mold goes over top of this, you want this to be a little bit more strong, is the right way, because you want it, you don't have to worry about that breaking off on your sculpt, on your mold. You got to remember, everything that you do to this, when you dig in, it sticks out on your mold. It's just the opposite. It's just the opposite. Everything, an innie is an outie on your mold. All right. And sometimes it's hard to visualize that, but it's a fact. You know, the one thing I definitely don't want in there is any kind of, I call them goobers, like little chunks of clay that might be in the line. And just squish them back down. Perfect. Yeah, you want that hairline there, but you definitely don't want it to be too deep, because if it's too deep and it's not, you want the hairline a little wide, because like I said, it's an innie. Whatever's an innie becomes an outie on your mold. And the mold, if it's a real fine, thin line, man, that line's going to break real easy on your mold. So you don't want to do that, but at the same time, you don't want yeah, that's nice. That's nice. All right, now I have to do a little bit of brushing right here. A little bit too much detail right there. A little more naphtha. Brush that off. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to texture this. And I'm going to call it done. Hairline is done. Glue lines are in. I'll do this up here one more time. Anytime you sculpt on something, you got to do it again when it comes to texturing. And this time, in this area, I don't need to brush real hard because I'm not trying to smooth anything out because it's smooth up top already. So I'm just waiting for that to turn a certain translucence. Some of the shine has to be gone. That'll tell me that the clay's ready. Hold on, I'm going to read all your text. Give me a sec here. I'm almost done here, guys, and then I'll sit and I'll yap with you guys. I'm done. Look how nice yeah, man. That looks good. Now just a little bit more bright, a little bit more here. That's enough. I'm not trying to rub that in too much. It's already smoothed out. Good. Naphtha is your friend. I wouldn't recommend using it without a brush. Do not put it on your hands. It is not a safe product to have on your flesh. It actually causes cancer really bad. I mean, what doesn't, they always say, but this stuff really does. If it gets into your bloodstream, it'll create cancer cells like in a blink. And what I mean by that is dead cells, because it kills your blood, it kills your body real quick. I don't know, your cells at a cellular level. Okay, let's turn it towards the camera. I was going to take this puncture hole down a little bit. Let me see where we're at. Man, there's a lot of delay. No, I did. Crusher, I don't know if you're still on. I'm going to turn around and face you guys. I'm going to face the TV anyway. Okay, let's read everything here. Yes. Bo Norton, go for it. Go. You know, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's. I never liked that mask. It's just my opinion. I mean, I like the original. I'm a big original fan. But then I'm an old guy too. I saw this movie in 1978 at the age of 16 years old. I saw it with my cousins, and it really left an everlasting impression on me, big time. It really did. Um, so I've always wanted the original. Never cared for anything else other than the original. Um, so let's see what else we got here. I need to go in a few minutes. Yeah, you're probably already gone, Crusher. But I'll answer anything that you put down there. Yes, I'm going to upload this for sure. Yes, Bo, it is complete. This is done. This is ready for mold. Now that I got the hairline in there and I put the glue lines for the glue lines for the sideburns, this is done. This is ready for mold. You know, Bo, I'm actually going to try and I gotta sort out my. This is liable to be that process right here, but it's multiple videos on sculpting because the sculpting takes so long. This sculpture took 12 months. You know, it's 12 months of work what you're looking at there. And some people do it. I mean, Nick Malpagano, I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a well-known Michael Myers mask maker, and and he's been doing it for years. He did a 13. It was called 13. His mask is 13. It's an exact, looks like an exact replica of the Halloween 4/5 cover art. It looks good. And it took him 10 months to sculpt that mask. It takes a long time. You can't just come in and knock out a really nice sculpture like this in say a month or 30 days. I'll knock it out in 30 days. I'm sorry. You see so many little inconsistencies that you learn as you go, and you're going, okay, what's wrong with this? Why doesn't this look right? You know, and then you figure it out, and that's the time-consuming part, is figuring it out. Once you figure out what I mean, there's a lot of, believe me, with this mask or sculpture, I had to do a lot of figuring out on the fly as I was going. You know, I was seeing the pictures and why did the shadow look so prominent under the eye sockets, like in here. Like the shadow was nice because the bottom part here is cut in further. That's why. And there's an overhang from this scalp from here to the bottom of the eye. There's literally probably a good half-inch, or maybe I would say quarter inch overhang. I need a haircut. I see it on the screen. Yeah, I have to put, what I want to do is put playlists together and edit everything. Videos on making a latex mask from start to finish. Sculpting, molding, and painting. I don't have it complete. They're kind of sporadic. I had a couple other like I had the other the masks. I want to tell you, what basically happened is each time I progressed with this, I I had to I didn't like it, so I went back to the drawing board, and this is the final one. This is the one that I think is the best that I can do. It's the best rendition of my Michael Myers. So this is going to be it. This is called the 78, and this is the 78. Then I'm going to turn this into the 2018, or I would say the H40. And from the H40, I'm going to do a Kills version of this. And then from Kills, I'm waiting to see what the Ends mask looks like. And then when I know what that looks like, I'm going to make an Ends mask. But there's going to be a bonus mask. There's going to be a fifth mask. And it's going to be a concept mask of, it's going to be, it's going to have it's going to look like the Ends mask plus an added something to it. And why I say that is because I want to be original. It's going to be a concept mask of, say, well, what I'm doing is I'm taking Evil Never Dies and using that as my thought process when I start sculpting my Beyond Ends mask. I don't know what I want to call it yet. I have to figure out a really good name for it. It's going to be called something. I don't know. But I have some really cool ideas that I want to do with that mask. And I've actually seen a couple of those ideas come to life in poster art, concept poster art on Michael Myers. My idea is what I want to do. I don't want to destroy the mask. I don't want to take away too much of the mask, but I want it to. I don't want to reveal that. I know what I want in my head, and I know what I'm going to do, and it's all going to be from this sculpture. Every mask is going to be from this sculpture, and that's where we're going to be with this. So, with that being said, guys, I want to say have a great night. Peace. Love yous all. And this is the latest video. Let me blacken this. Sorry for not reading your replies. I actually need the TV in a different direction, but I can't anyway. So I just right now I can't not the way this room's set up. Anyway, I want to say thanks for watching. Peace. Love yous all. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, hit the like, and share the content. Let your friends know what I'm doing here, and maybe they want to pick up some clay and learn how to do this themselves. You know, it's fun. I sure will, and I don't have, like I said, when I saw your when I saw your questionnaire, do you have videos making a latex from start to finish? Not perfectly edited. I don't have anything edited perfectly. I'm so busy between my two jobs, I don't have a lot of time for editing. There's a guy that's actually looking into do the editing for me, and I want to put thumbnails up, and I want it done professionally. And he showed me some of the things he was doing, and I want to give him my business logo, which is really cool, and I want him to use that business logo across my stuff, anything that I do, you know, I don't know. I just it has to be done correctly. And what I am going to do is once I have these new masks done, because like I'm going to record the whole mold making process. This is 12 months of retooling to this sculpture that you're looking at right now. This isn't from start to finish, the clay. But if you look back on older videos, like you look at, and you'll see the beginning stages of me sticking the clay on the armature. And, you know, I don't think I recorded like the very, very beginning of putting the clay on there. But I packed it out and I kept shaping it, and at some points it looked horrible. So, and then sometimes it looked like it was getting close. And then I tried molding a few times because I wanted to make sure, I know it wasn't done, but I knew that I could mold it and not destroy the sculpture. But what I was looking to do is make sure that with the shrinkage of the latex that the mask would fit people with the mold, with the sculpture at the size that I was at. So once I got to that point, I said, okay, well this looks close enough for right now. And then I would make a mold. And I made a latex mask. I made a thin one and a thick one. And I let it shrink up. And then I wanted to see the difference between the two thicknesses on how much, which one shrunk the most. And of course the thicker one shrank the most. And that mask actually, because I got a big head, it fit me pretty good. But it shrank down like 3 inches. It was a big, significant difference in the size of the sculpture compared to the actual size of the mask when it's done. The shrinkage really is a big factor, and you have to get that right. If you don't make your sculpture big enough, you're going to be stuck with a mask that nobody's going to be able to wear. If your sculpture is 25 inches in diameter around the top of right here at the bridge of the eye, all the way around to the very furthest back of the head, and you want to use this kind of tape, you know, measuring tape, and this is 30 inches. It might be 28. I keep saying 30 inches. That was one of my first it's 28 inches. 28, this will give me a 20, no, is it 28? In the end, it makes me a 25 is the small version of my mask, and the larger version is a 20, I want to say 26, 27. So if you have a 25 or 26 inch head, this mask, you need the large. If you have a 26 inch head, you need a larger mask. And this mask, believe it or not, when it wears, it's very nice. It lines up to your eyes the right. It's just really nice fitting mask. I've already tested all this. You know, I already know what this is going to give you when it's on your head. I already have I have multiple masks done from this actual sculpture. Size never changed, only the small details. So, but I'm going to say goodnight, guys, and I don't know how many of you guys are still on. It doesn't show me that on this chat. It doesn't show me how many people are on. Why, I don't know. Anyway, I'm off, and I'm going to go watch some TV. I did what I promised I was going to do, update you on what I'm doing with the sculpture, putting the hairline in and putting the glue lines in, and we are ready for mold. We are ready for the mold. I can't wait to do it. It's going to be fun. All right, peace. Love you. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share the content. And definitely hit the like button. Gotta have them likes, man. Gotta have them likes. Give me them likes. Thumbs up, baby. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Peace. I'll see you. Bye-bye. Shut the camera off.